Where the immigration debate is really heating up. United Constitutional Patriots leader, that's a group. Their leader is known as Larry Hopkins. He was arrested this week by the FBI. The group is accused of catching and detaining illegal immigrants against their will. And now the debate. Should American citizens be allowed to detain immigrants as they break the law by crossing the border into the U.S.? With us, Republican strategist and editorial director at the Reactionary Times, Julio Rivera, and president of D.C. Young Democrats, Marcus Goodwin. Let's start with that video that we see of the militia group, Marcus, detaining immigrants. Disturbing. Even though I'm a huge advocate of firming up our border, shoring up our border, it was uncomfortable for me. Your thoughts?
It's preposterous that people are pursuing this vigilante justice, taking the law into their own hands. We have trained law enforcement officials. They should be taking the responsibility for securing the border. I do understand that they think that the rhetoric of the president emboldens them and empowers them to pursue this agenda, but they need to cool it. We need to have our law enforcement that we train and control overseeing the issue.
Julio, but the problem is there were 100,000 people captured in the month of March alone, 4,000 in one single day. It's clearly a problem. Do you have a problem with militia stopping immigrants as they come across the border?
Well, I think that this is taking, the whole citizens arrest thing a little too far. I do, to a certain extent, have a problem with it because there's no guarantee of how these people are going to be treated. Now, I mean, the one thing that we do need to do is support our president in his effort to try to seal this border. I mean, if we had that wall, we wouldn't have 100,000 people crossing. We wouldn't have 4,000 people crossing in one day and all the other issues that come along with that. Recently, I believe it was yesterday, the story broke that the first case of Chagas disease was discovered in Maryland. A little girl has this disease, and this is a bug that originates.
What is
Chagas
this?
disease is a disease that affects your cardiovascular system.
But is it traced to Central America?
Yes, it is, because you get it from a bug that bites you. You get bug bite, and these bugs originate in Central America, and it's these caravans and these large groups of people coming up, bringing this bug into the United States.
So, Marcus, what happened, though, the FBI didn't arrest this guy because of the militia or what he had done. They arrested him because he had priors.
Yeah, he's been impersonating law enforcement officials. They found him with a badge. He also had some shoulder marks indicating that he was some sort of military entity. So we just have too many vigilantes that are in states like New Mexico and Texas trying to take the law into their own hands.
But do you have a problem with, let's say I'm a farmer,
right,
and I'm on the border, and I see someone jumping. I see a group of 4 or 5 migrants coming. I shouldn't stop them. I shouldn't stop them at my fence with maybe even a firearm. Say, stay there. I'm calling Border Patrol.
There are trained people that are.
You're against that?
I'm against it. The people who are trained, who we entrust as a society to take that up.
Property? When it's your own property you're protecting, you don't like that?
That's a different scenario. If people are threatening
your
well-being, your health,
I'm a farmer
your safety,
on the border, and I see 20 guys coming across the border, or whatever, 20 migrants coming across the border illegally.
It's a far off example.
To say, stay
it's
right
not realistic
there
to expect that that's what every scenario is going to be like. A far majority of these people are coming over with their families to support themselves and their livelihoods.
I'm right or wrong. Just asking you to say I'm right or wrong.
You're wrong, Eric.
Okay, I'm wrong. Julio, am I right or wrong?
I think you're right.
All right. Before that, listen, I wanted you to come on because you guys represent the right and the left. The field of 2020 candidates, we put up a full screen earlier. I'd like to show it again if we can find it. Pete Buttigieg is the one that really surprises me, really bubbling up to the top level, and Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris being pushed far down. What are your thoughts on the Democrat side?
Buttigieg is on rocket fuel. People really like that he's pragmatic. He's super light on policy. I have been and am still a supporter of Kamala Harris's campaign. I think it's early. Things will come around.
Is she having on policy?
Oh, I think so. Absolutely.
I'm only laughing because I come from New Jersey where Cory Booker prosecutor has done nothing. Yeah, but what are her policies? I'm not sure what her policy is. She's got a good resume.
Right. And I think she's been supportive of policies that are progressive, away from the policies of the president that are going to lead us toward more people being enfranchised as citizens?
I think,
final thought.
Yeah, I think that the Democratic establishment will pick their candidate. Their system of superdelegates is ultimately going to probably go with Joe Biden if he runs. If he doesn't run, they're going to go where they have the next best chance, which I believe is Bernie Sanders.
Well, yeah, a 77 to 78-year-old. There we go. We're going to leave it right there. Still to come, the White House has apparently called for a boycott of the White House Correspondents Association dinner, and the president is headed to MAGA country, a MAGA rally instead. We'll talk balls and strikes with the Daily Mail's David Martusco when we come back.